That is what I'm going to talk about. Women in arbitration, Africa's best kept secrets. Number 3 will surprise you. I guarantee. Let's start from the known. I believe the Kenya judiciary has achieved both equity and equality. And many of the women judges that we have on the bench today have risen from the magistracy to the High Court and to the Court of Appeal. That speaks to merit or meritocracy. Others have been recruited from the private sector through competitive recruitment. And so the women we have in the judiciary today have either risen through the ranks and earned their stripes or been recruited competitively. Now, the contribution of the one-third gender rule in the Kenya judiciary is, I believe, mainly restricted to the top posts. That is CJ, CRJ, and the top posts. Now, the interplay between meritocracy and the one-third gender rule in the Kenya judiciary should be a benchmark for the other arms of government and for the private sector. Shortly, I will show you that one of the other arms of government has a lot of catching up to do. Now, ICSID, Kenya made appointments last year, 2022, to the ICSID appointments. ICSID is the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. Those are the names of the 8 persons who were appointed to Kenya's ICSID panel in 2022. You have the names there. I don't know what you make of those names, but I'll try to help you because I have thought long and hard about those names. But first of all, the general comments about those names. The appointments are for 6 years, that is from 2022 to 2028. But those terms could be either renewed expressly or be left to run indefinitely by default. 3 of the appointments are women. So on the face of it, you can tick the box and say Kenya's ICSID panels are gender sensitive or compliant with the Constitution of Kenya with respect to the one-third gender rule. But there is some mischief there, which we will discuss shortly. The other thing to note generally is that the arbitrator and mediator or reconciliation or conciliator panels operate differently. It's not one panel of 8. These are 2 separate panels with different mandates. They operate completely differently. So the approach of lumping them into 8 and looking at 3 out of 8 is misplaced. It's bad maths. The other general comment is that such empowerment is a career booster. Whether you are actually appointed into a mediation or an arbitration or not. Let's talk a bit about the arbitration panel. The conciliation panel is actually dormant. The last time I checked, I must say it was like maybe 2-3 years ago, only 3 conciliations had been carried out under ICSID. Maybe the number has risen a bit, so I'm prepared to guess that probably a maximum of 5 conciliations have been carried out under ICSID since ICSID was started in 1966. That is some 57 years ago. You can start now to see the mischief. The 3 women who have been appointed to the ICSID panels have been posted to the conciliation panel. There is something else. 2 of the 3 ladies are serving judges. I really don't know the rules applicable, and I don't know if the 2 judges would have the time or would be allowed to take private conciliation work at the ICSID and get paid for it. I'm hearing no. So there is a lot of mischief here taking place. We will now go to another slide. And this is Kenya's appointment in 2022 to the Permanent Court of Arbitration at The Hague. Those 4 names. Obviously, the gentlemen are qualified. Let's start there. It cannot be that there were not qualified women for those posts. But the gentlemen did not appoint themselves. They were appointed by, allow me to say, another gentleman. But the question is, surely, in 2022, 12 years into the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the gentleman who appointed this gentleman, surely he could not see a single Kenyan woman who was qualified. In this room, I guess we have at least 10, maybe even 20 women qualified. But none of them were appointed. Now, this is absolute and unveiled exclusion of women. Some of you can remember the shortlisting of the chairperson of the Central Bank of Kenya. Many women, or a good number of women applied, but none were shortlisted. I think the shortlist had 6 names. Why didn't the Kenyan women who would have qualified to be shortlisted apply? Now, when management by objective fails, then women in ADR should try management by court orders. Because we have a constitution, if by any chance there were no women who qualified, applied, that could happen. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. But what compliance with the Constitution would have demanded was saying, we have 6 men whom we have shortlisted for this job. We will do targeted re-advertisement in order to boost the number of shortlisting from 6 to 9. Then from those, we will rank them and choose the best. I've talked about the Kenya judiciary. I've talked about ICSID and Permanent Court of Arbitration. I'll now talk briefly about Kenyan arbitral institutions, how women are faring in Kenyan arbitral institutions. The current chair of Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, Kenya branch, is a lady. and she is the second woman to hold that office. The honorary secretary is a woman and a non-lawyer. She has carried out that role very well the last couple of years. As for the board of directors, 6 out of 18, not 10, 6 out of 18 are women. And that information is available online. You could Google it, and the pictures are there. Now, as for the secretariat, the CIAB secretariat, the CEO is a woman, competitively recruited, and now serving her 7th year. The business development manager is a woman, promoted from within. Now, over 80% of the staff at CIAB are women. I have a suggestion how we are going to remedy this. I'll be telling you that shortly. Now, NCIA, I visited the website on 13th July 2023. The board of directors is made up of 3 men and 6 women. I don't think that's right. I could be corrected. 3 men and 6 women. I'm informed by the CEO, the registrar, that in fact that is the position. The information is available online. Okay. Now, and the chair, of course, the current chair is a woman. According to the website, the secretariat is made up of 2 men and 2 women, but I suspect that might not be up to date. But that's what was on the website on that day when I visited the website. Let's look at African arbitral institutions. At the Mauritius International Arbitration Center, the first CEO was a Kenyan woman. Now, Kigali International Arbitration Center, KIAC, the first CEO was a woman. Tanzania Institute of Arbitrators, the president is a young woman. Comesa Court, the current CEO is a woman. East Africa International Arbitration Conference was founded and is managed by women. African Arbitration Association, the first Secretary General is a woman, or was a woman because I think she has left. Born in Tanzania, but a Kenyan by choice, through marriage. 6 out of the 15 board members are women. Yes, and Justice Aluch is a board member. Now, secret number 1. I have 3 secrets for you. One is that many recent and current chairpersons and CEOs of many African arbitral institutions are women, and that those pioneers have earned their stripes through merit. It's not the 1/3 gender rule, it's pure merit. Secret number 2. This is an observation I have made over the years. When I met Justice Aluch, when she visited that conference where we met, I tried to recruit her into arbitration. Akapomnyoka. She went for mediation, and she has explained to me why. After so many years of presiding in judicial proceedings in Kenya and abroad, she was tired. 44 years. That's why she chose mediation over arbitration. So the lesson I think we have here for women is once you have those who are in the judiciary, once you have clocked 44 years in the judiciary, you can go to mediation. But otherwise, you are welcome to the world of arbitration. The trend I have observed, which is secret number 2, is that women gravitate from arbitration and specialize in arbitration, and specialize in mediation. On the other hand, men ADR practitioners focus on arbitration and adjudication construction. Before going to secret number 3, the one which will surprise you, I would like us to pause a bit and ponder. Are my observations about women moving from or gravitating from arbitration to mediation correct? If that's so, what are the factors which pull women from arbitration to mediation? Is this a good trend and something we should encourage? Is this trend good for the empowerment of Kenyan women in ADR and for the Kenyan society? Should this be a concern? And if so, what interventions should be put in place? It could be that women have got good reasons for moving from arbitration and specializing in mediation. Certainly, Justice Aluch has a very good reason herself, but that does not apply for all the women. But tell me, why is it that women gravitate so much from arbitration to mediation when men are left put in arbitration? Any ideas? Any ideas? Yes, yes, madam. Mm-hmm.
When a woman just wants, just kind of just to mediate, not to get into the rigors again of quarrels, because, I think women kind of want that comfort of just putting people together, and arbitration kind of has the same process like litigation, and most of us actually are kind of tired of litigation, and especially when you reach the age of 40.
Wow. Wow. Yes, the mic here, please.
I think also the prohibitive cost of arbitration for women, mediation tends to be more affordable, so you'll find women gravitating towards it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is something there because in addition to the cost, the mediation route is faster because once you do your 1 week or 40-hour mediation course, you are done. Arbitration, on the other hand, is a longer route with several stages which could take several years. Any other thought? Yes, Madam President of CIAB Kenya branch.
Yes. Thank you, and thank you for the very good presentation that you're making. I think that we are also socialized to feel more comfortable with bringing people together. So from a very early age, we acquire those skills, so they are already at our disposal. Yes.
Okay, good, thank you. So we have answered one angle, why women gravitate towards mediation. But why do men stay put in arbitration? Any thoughts? Yes? There is a man there who is going to answer the question. Or a woman? Fine, whoever.
I think that it's because arbitration is seen as a big boys club.
That's a valid answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Another answer?
I also feel like because of the gender pay gap currently, men are able to elevate in terms of qualifications. For instance, for myself, I've done the associate level, but I've not paid for the membership fee. But if I was to become a member, that means I would have to pay for the course and the examination as well. That is just a point on top of the other point my sister mentioned regarding arbitration being cost prohibitive. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The last answer here, please.
Thank you. I think when arbitration first started, the people that dominated the field were men. So there is an authority that was already established by male practitioners, and in turn they ended up, just mentoring other men, and it grew to that place where it was men were considered more competent, but the times have changed. But I think there's an origin there with the way it started.
Thank you. I'll give you a hint. How much do you get paid when you do a court-annexed mediation in Kenya, regardless of the quantum and how many sittings? How much? In Kenya shillings? 20,000. How much does an arbitrator who is a fellow or chartered arbitrator charge per hour? Therein lies your answer. And I'm saying this seriously, ladies. If you exclude yourself from where the money is, don't blame anybody. The field is open. There are costs involved, but professional women are not poor. They can afford the arbitration fees, the arbitration training fees. I will now go to the last one, secret number 3. We have already established that the following are not gender sensitive or compliant with the Constitution of Kenya, 1/3 gender rule. One is the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators Kenya branch, where we have about 80% of the staff are women. The other one is ICSID and the Permanent Court of Arbitration Appointments. According to an article by one Alice Waithera of the Star newspaper dated 7th June 2021, some believe if you went around a mugumo tree 7 times, you would change your sex. That's a mugumo tree, the fig tree. This particular one, I took this photograph yesterday. It's at Westlands roundabout, the small roundabout near the old post office. It's a mugumo tree. So anyone wishing to change? I've even told you where the tree is. What you see in the background is the Nairobi Expressway, so if you are in a hurry, you can use the expressway. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Asanteni sana. Those are my thoughts about women in ADR and the 3 secrets about arbitration and women in Kenya and in Africa.